Please tell me your name
Sir, my name is Ajay Kumar Mandangi.
and your roll number for this exam.
Sir, 300472.
Okay. Please give me a formal introduction.
Sir, my name is Ajay Kumar Mandangi.
नहीं ना आउ maybe domicile से कि देखिए से कौन कहूँ
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. If
Yes.
they tell you not to say these things,
Yes, sir.
जो जिनसे से मना करूँ सेटा कहबेनी.
So, Jimmy, ଆପଣ ପଚାରିଲେ give me the formal introduction. Same
Formal
ଜିନିଷ.
introduction नहीं नाटा रखिबेनी. If they say that आपको ये भी रखिबर नहीं, domicile from which
Sir.
district you belong, सेटा भी रखिबेनी. You start with your highest qualification. Highest qualification number 1, current status,
Yes, sir.
and in your case there will be past employment. Okay. Number 3, आपका hobbies.
Yes, sir.
Number 4, your achievements.
Achievements.
So in your case, you again will bifurcate the achievements.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Social achievement,
Yes, sir.
blood donation.
Yes, sir.
ठीक अच्छी. Professional achievement जो जोड़ा सो लिखते हैं
Yes, sir.
जो okay medals और ये मिलची. Professional achievement रे.
Yes, sir.
आओ
Educational.
educational में सेटा को academic achievements.
Academic, yes.
Academic and research achievements net you have cleared. Okay. तो से बड़ा अपन को रहेगा. Proficiency award and represented Indian Navy in Republic Day parade at Rajpath. से बड़ा रहेगा अपन को
Professional achievements.
ठीक अच्छी. So सही हिसाब से तो कोई.
Yes, sir.
आप फिर कौन?
Sir, I have completed my post-graduation from Annamalai University and graduation from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam during my tenure in the Indian Navy. My hobbies are playing football and watching motivational videos. My social achievements is blood donation camps at Navy. My educational achievements, I have cleared UGC NET with JRF in 2020. My professional achievement includes presenting of Indian Navy at the Republic Day Parade at Rajpath in 2009 and Proficiency Award of Indian Navy in 2006 and 2015, sir.
Okay, fine. So today is your second interview. We will be discussing about your optionals. What are your optionals?
Sir, my optionals are political science, IR and history.
PSIR and history.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us start with political science first. Who is your favorite Western thinker?
Sir, Machiavelli, sir.
Machiavelli?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just tell me, basically summarize Machiavelli or give a short character sketch of Machiavelli, what he has written and what is his thought process, and compare him with, for example, Gandhiji. What was Gandhiji's thought process and why always there is a comparison between the Machiavellian concept and the Gandhian concept. Okay, and
Yes.
which concept do you subscribe to?
Sir, Machiavelli was a Western political thinker. He was born in Florence of Italy. He was written 2 books. First is the Discourse and second is the Prince. In the second book, that is the Prince, he has mentioned about the role of the Prince, his administration procedures and how he can rule the his fellow citizens. In the Prince, he has mostly divided his theory into 2 parts. One is the king who are the hereditary and the kings who are newly gaining the power, and this theory of Prince is basically about the procedures of administration and statecrafts of the newly acquired kingdoms and the prince. According to him, the prince should be always feared, not to be loved, and he was the first Western political thinker who has emphasized to have an army of the prince. Prince should be trained himself before crowned the kingship man, and the Machiavellian theory is also suggests us ends justify the means, which the Gandhian principle is opposite of that. Gandhian principle says that ends and means both are important for achieving a goal, but Machiavelli is suggesting us end means the justice.
Okay, means basically justify the ends and ends justify the means.
Gandhi is, according to Gandhiji is told about the ends and means both are important to achieve a goal, but Machiavelli is suggesting that end justifies the means, sir.
Okay, so which is as a difference personal, what is ex-defense personnel, what is, you subscribe to the Machiavellian view? Or the
No, sir.
Machiavellian-
Gandhian view is good, sir, because whenever we want to achieve a goal, the ends and the process is everything should be good, and everything should be in a spirit, so that end will justify the means.
Okay, fine. So, what is the meaning of hegemony, and one or two theories on that?
Sir, hegemony is the power of a country, the presence of power of a country, or we can say is a forceful power of a country on another country or another kingdom, sir. The theory of hegemony, sir, I'm not recalling present now, sir.
Okay, fine. So, we know of the various political thinkers who have proposed theories of justice.
Yes, sir.
So, at least two you can tell me.
Sir, Rawls' theories of justice,
Okay.
and Aristotle and Plato has also given the theory of justice, sir.
Okay. So, tell me something about it then, Rawls' theory of justice.
Sir, Rawls' theory of justice is basically the justice in the society, where where, for example, sir, if a doctor is there and if a rickshaw puller is there in the society, the doctor is getting more amount of money than the rickshaw puller, but the state should impose higher taxes on the doctors, so that the amount which is being collected can be utilized to the other part of the society, so that the education and other welfare system should be equally given to all. This is the basic things of Rawls' justice of theory, sir.
Okay, fine. So, tell me something about the political ideology of Mao.
Sir, Mao's political ideology is basically the communist version of Asian continent. He was basically telling he changed the theory of Marx, and by forceful aggression towards the enemy, he has just carried out in China, and it was successful in China, sir. And according to Mao, the famous quote, sir, powers runs through barrels. So Mao has just changed that theory of, according to Asian version, sir.
Okay, so what is the difference between the communist ideology and the socialist ideology? Are they necessarily the same?
No, sir, they are necessarily not the same. Socialist ideology is an umbrella term, where the communist ideology also it's the part of it. The socialist ideology telling us the production and resources are under the people, and it should be divided under the people equally. But the communist ideology is not telling us about the distribution of resources, but communist ideology is telling us about the resources should be controlled by the people, not by any authority or government or kings.
Is China still a communist country?
So
At least economically?
No, sir. China is a capitalist country economically, and he is also propagating that he is a democratic country, but China is not the communist. China is the communist party, but not the democratic party.
Okay. So, tell me something about M.N. Roy, what you know about his radical humanism, and what are the basic concepts of radical humanism?
Sir, initially M.N. Roy was a communist, and he has also attended the World Communist Congress, and later he has joined Indian National Congress also. He has proposed, he is the first person in India to propose for a constitutional theory, sir. Others I am not recalling, sir.
Okay. So, what is the difference between judicial activism and judicial overreach?
So there is a thin line of difference between judicial activism and judicial overreach. Whenever the judiciary overreach its area, or when it ingress in the part of executive and legislative, then we can say it as judicial overreach. Judicial activism is basically known as the PIL system, public interest litigation, where whenever any judgment or any PIL is being heard at Supreme Court, then it is for the benefit of the society.
Okay. So, tell me something you have read about the game theory. What is the game theory, and tell me something about it.
Sir, game theory is basically it is a part of the decision making theory, where the game theory is derived from the decisions making of games like chess and cards and other games, sir, where the decisions is being made, and the game theory is basically from it only, sir. The decision making process by the game theories.
Okay. So, your other optional is
History, sir.
history, no? History and political science. So, tell me, what was India's role in the Tibetan conflict? Okay. And do you think that we acted properly during the Tibet dispute?
Yes, sir. According to our policy of border guarding policies, the point 11 and other.
I'm not talking about recently. What I'm talking about is the takeover of China.
1950.
After
Yes,
Tibet's takeover of China.
Yes, sir.
What was Indian reaction then? And do you think that it was adequate, or had we reacted in a different way, maybe things would have been different now?
Yes, sir. India's stand was not good at that time. India should have opposed the thing, because after Chinese ingression in Tibet, they are also acquiring some parts of India. India should have been raised the matter in the United Nations at that time, because as per the five-finger policy of China, their first finger that they have acquired is Tibet, and their expansionist policy is to acquire Arunachal Pradesh and other parts. So I think, sir, that time India should have opposed that, and it should raise the matter to the United Nations, and other countries should India should calls other country for the action against China, sir.
Okay. And can you tell me the relation of China with its neighbors, apart from India, other neighbors?
Sir, other neighbors like Mongolia, Pakistan, and some parts of Japan, which is not connected, but in sea lane it is he is the neighbor of China, and Taiwan is also the neighbor of China. Then Vietnam is also the neighbor of China. Myanmar is also neighbor of the China. But due to the expansionist policy of China, it is eyeing on Mongolia, some parts of Vietnam, some parts of Myanmar, and presently China is preparing to acquire Taiwan also, sir. So it is basically his relations with neighbors is not good. According to China, the whole area is under the Chinese. Initial in 1950s, when the Chinese Revolution was happened, they are thinking that these areas are them only, and they are planning to acquire these areas in future.
Okay. Right. How is India planning to counter this expansionist policies of China, and what have we done till now?
Sir, India is grouping with USA, Japan and other countries and forming Quad, and India is also eyeing on South China Sea, the countries which are under the expansionist policy of China. India is providing them with recently India is providing weapons to Philippines, Vietnam, and India is having good relation with ASEAN, where maximum countries are under the influence of China, and India is and ASEAN is now looking India as alternative, so that India can safeguard their sovereignty against China, sir.
Okay. So now coming to history, so can you tell me what were the major reasons that Buddhism became a world religion and Jainism could not?
So firstly, sir, the patronage of Buddhism by the kings like Ashoka, who have expanded it through Sri Lanka and Myanmar and other parts. Secondly, Buddhism was also expanded by the Kanishk, the king Kanishk, but the Jainism was not, the patronizing of Jainism was in the early stage, and it was not patronized throughout the world. And the policy of Buddhism, which is very simple, and it is people centric, but the rituals of Jainism was a little bit harsh. That's why, sir, it is not expanded properly, sir.
Okay, fine. So then coming to the architecture part, can you tell me the differences between Nagara school of architecture and Kalinga school of architecture? Even though Kalinga school is a sub-school of Nagara school of architecture, there are some differences which we find in our temples and which we don't find in the Nagara temples, okay, classical Nagara temples. So can you tell me what are the differences?
Sir, I am not exactly sure, but the Kalinga school of temple architecture is basically, sir, the structure which is curvilinear, the Rekha temple structure, and it is not found in Nagara style like Khajuraho temples and other temples of Nagara architecture.
Okay. So during your service with Navy, were you stationed in any of the southern states?
Yes, sir.
You were there in Tamil Nadu?
Kochi, sir. Kerala, sir.
Kerala, you were there. So have you visited the Dravidian School of Architecture and some temples or something?
No, sir. I am not visited, sir.
You didn't get the time?
No, sir.
Okay. So since you're there in Kerala, tell me something about the history of Kerala, starting with the advent of the Portuguese and how the things changed, and under British rule, the Travancore state. So tell me something about that.
Sir, initially when Portuguese came to Kerala, the king of Jamarin, first they have approached to king of Jamarin for some land for trade purpose, and he was the first king who has accommodated them. Later, when the Dutch and other Britishers had came, there was a conflict with Portuguese, and some Arab colonies were also there in Kerala. They were with conflict with the Portuguese, and later stage the domination of Arab concluded there, and the Travancore, I am not recalling it, sir, about the Travancore kingdoms.
Okay. Fine. So, do you know about Ashoka's Dhamma, what was basically, what were the principles of Dhamma that he wanted to propagate among his subjects, and how did he do that?
Sir, Asoka's Dhamma, he was spreading it through his architectural marvels, the pillars and rock edicts. His dharmas were basically not to kill the animals, the mutual integration with people, to follow the kingdom and follow the rules of the kings, and these are his basic rules towards Dhamma.
Many historians blame Ashoka for the decline of the Mauryan kingdom. What is your view?
No, sir. Asoka's decline of Maurya, after Asoka, his sons and other rulers who came, they did not control the vast area, and they did not safeguard this area. That's why the Mauryan kingdom was false, sir.
Okay. So, in the medieval times, what was the main reason for the bloody succession battles that we saw if we compare it to ancient India?
So, during ancient India, the Mahajanpads and other states were not in the fullest form of it. In the medieval, the kingdoms which have attacked India from outside by eyeing the vast resource of India and to gain the power in Indian subcontinent. These are the things that why bloody shed were occurred in medieval area, mostly as compared to the ancient India, sir.
Okay, fine. So that will be the end of the interview. तो आपनकर बेसी किछि माने किछि प्रॉब्लम्स किछि अपन डोमेन नॉलेज भी भलो अछि
सर प्रिपरेशन मु करनी सर ठीक है प्रिपरेशन करनी सर माने
ऑप्शंस में
हां सर
और टिके देखि देबे सेटा से माने ऑप्शनल पचरी हो से माने कम पचरी के भी जाने बट
मु प्रिपरेशन ठीक रे करनी सर इन माय पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आई हैव ओनली 30% ही करछि सर माने ए पर्यंत
अच्छा टिके देखि देबे
यस सर
सिंस यू हैव आल्सो क्वालिफाइड नेट एंड ऑल इन पॉलिटिकल साइंस दे विल बी इंटरेस्टेड ओके
यस सर
ओके सो सेटा एंड आपनकर माने 70 to 80% क्वेश्चंस विल बी ऑन नेवी
सर
करंट रोल ऑफ नेवी
यस सर
नेवी रो रोल ऊपर ही अपन नेवी ऊपर ही मैक्सिमम क्वेश्चन एक्सपेक्ट कर
यस सर
ओके दैट से हिसाब रे अपन जितते जा सब पढ़ी पारिबे फ्रॉम डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ व्यू ओके सेटा अपन टिके देखि देबे
यस सर यस
फाइन सो अपन इंटरवेंशन
हां सर